answers. Easter seals today.
Hello, thank you all for joining us today here on Easter Seals Today. And I'm your host, Carol Gault, and we have with us today Mary Louise Catterjohn and Laura Gremley. And thank you both for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the Charity League. And so let's just get started, and let's start with you, Mrs. Catterjohn, and talk about your role in a charity league, and let's give a little history, and then we'll move on to Laura and talk about your role today. And let's just have a good conversation about the Charity League and its relationship to Easter Seals.
Well, it has had a relationship to Easter Seals forever. I laugh and say I may not be the oldest living member of the Charity League, but I have been a member longer than anybody else, I'll bet. I first joined the Charity League in 1946. I was a member, an active member for 13 years, and then I've been an associate ever since. So I know a lot about the history. Now I'm just Laura's grandmother-in-law, which I love being. Isn't that nice?
It is nice.
I was president of the
nice.
Charity League in 56, I think it was. And now she's president of the Charity League now, which is wonderful.
It's nice to have those relationships and those legacies, if you will. It's a great history.
Yeah, oh, it is. It is.
To carry on. So, Laura, tell us a little bit about what you do with the Charity League today.
Well, right now I'm president. My reign is almost over, and it will be in June. But pretty much you just, run the organization and make sure that we're on track and raising money for Easter Seals, and just glad to be a part of it.
Well, I'm an associate as well of the Charity League, and it's been about 10 years since I was actively involved. I was thinking about that earlier this morning. I was chair of the Charity League Follies about this time. We were doing that in the spring of the year. So let's talk a little bit about what they did when you were there, Ms. Catterjohn.
Well, when I was there, Tootsie, Ethel Du Bois Smith, our wonderful patroness who has given us so much, gave us the house now at 1921 Broadway. So among the many other things we did was serve food. There weren't very many good restaurants in Paducah at that time, and a wonderful alternative to entertaining at home. Ladies would call whoever was hostess that week and make reservations for lunch. Well, I wasn't even married at the time, and I didn't have any idea how to cook. Fortunately, there was a wonderful caterers here in town, Ms. East, who made the most divine hot rolls. So you could always count on, if you went to the Charity League for lunch, you got Ms. East rolled. And there are tales of aspic that didn't gel, and chicken salad that fell out on the. But anyway, we had luncheons. I think we charged $1.25 for the lunch, and it was a nice lunch: chicken salad, aspic rolls, dessert, and then if somebody else wanted to have a private luncheon, they could call, and you'd have to do it. And some weeks you'd have 2 or 3 luncheons. And so that was the main thing we did then. But in '52 we started the Follies. And of course that has been our biggest money maker. All this other stuff was kind of nitpickings, but the Follies really brought in the money.
Right. And so from all those dollars that were raised during that time, primarily went to help support the Easter Seals, correct?
Absolutely, right. The association of the Charity League and Easter Seals, long before it was Easter Seals, the Charity League and the Lions Club and the West Kentucky Cerebral Palsy Association got together and funded money. We gave the 2.5 acres over on Mildred Street that the center originally was on, and the adult center is still there.
Yes.
And so from 1932, I think they had the first crippled children's clinic. Doctors came down from Louisville, and the Charity League staffed it. And I think also the Rotary Club and the Junior Women's Club were a part of that first one. So, you know, we've been associated with them a long time.
Right, right. Now, we were talking just a little bit earlier before the camera started rolling that you were active probably for about 13 years.
That's right.
Now, I know in my day, there was only about 5 years period of time, and the age was a little different, I believe. So you want to talk to us just a little bit about that?
I think when I was, you had to be 21 and no more than 35 to be elected. And I came in right after college. I was 22. So I stayed until I was 35. There was kind of more of an incentive for people to stay longer. This 5 years you can get out was not any kind of a rule or anything. So you stayed until something happened and you needed to get out.
Right. And during your time, did you work at the center? Did you do volunteer hours?
No, we did not then. We were purely money raising.
Okay. All right. Well, Laura, you want to talk a little bit about what it's like today in the association with Easter Seals?
Well, it's a little different today. Now you have to be 25 to join, and it is a 5-year commitment. But we, you know, like back in Louise's day, we raise money for Easter Seals. We have our annual events. We have our big event is Snowball every year that we get prepped for. So we raise money from that from October until December, and then we have our big spring fundraiser in the spring. So we raise money for that, but we also volunteer at Easter Seals. We do several volunteer events. We have volunteer hours. We do barbecue on the river. I mean, we just do several things that benefit Easter Seals. So.
All right. Okay. Well, do you have any good stories that you'd like to share with us, just to bring back some memories here while we have you? Any good Folly stories? I know I've heard
the
of one
Follies.
or two.
Oh, goodness. I remember once I was in a thing where we were doing some sort of an oriental dance, you know, and we were sashaying off the stage, and the girl next to me, Sarah McKinney Smith, stepped on my foot, and I couldn't move. So here we were. Oh, but there were. I think most of those stories are probably left unsaid.
I understand. And at that time, did you still go and have sponsors come in? Is that the way you raised most of the money? Brought a director in from New York?
We brought in a director from New York, right, which sometimes was a disaster. Sometimes the director was not as good as he should be. But they brought the costumes and everything. And it started out, you know, being very professional. But now I think it's even more professional, the way they do it. I think it's been a really good show.
Thank goodness for the Market House.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. My year was the first year that we used Michael Cochran, actually. And
well, he is so talented.
He is extremely talented.
Yeah, just wonderful.
And so, when will be the next Follies? I know that there's been some time period. There's some shift going on. There's some different things that are going on.
Right.
So
Well, this year we had a scheduling conflict, and we were not going to be able to use Michael. So. We are actually doing a new tennis tournament this year, but as far as when we are doing the Follies, maybe next year, maybe 2 years, we may put that on a 5-year plan, once every 5 years, because a lot of our members now, we work, you know, a lot of us work,
right.
So it's very, very difficult to try to get, 50 women to pretty much practice for a month after work until about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Follies is a big time commitment. So.
Right. But I know that you've done a lot of other fundraising events in recent years that have been very profitable.
Right. We have our golf scramble. Last year we had that. I believe we raised $23,000. Our bargain fair, right? It's a great money maker. I know that's been around for a while. Our golf scramble is fairly new, but. Our bargain fair brings in a fair amount, and so this year we're going to try a tennis tournament. So we're very hopeful that will also bring in a lot of money for Easter Seals.
Well, and that's one thing that not-for-profits have to learn, is that you have to change with the times. And
oh yes, you won't believe the things that the Charity League did early. The first thing they had was a lending library downtown in Rudy's department store. Well, after it got flooded in the 37 flood, they moved. But we had dog shows, President's birthday ball, that's President Roosevelt birthday ball, and garden fetes out at the Fergusons that we have done. You name it, they've tried it.
Well, and see, that's great.
Oh,
That's
it's
great
wonderful.
history to know.
Yeah.
So, and to try these new things.
Right.
Follies probably may have seen its better days. You never know. Yeah.
Well, it's awfully hard
It's awfully
nowadays for the young women to give that much time.
Exactly. Exactly. And the bargain fair, I know everyone loves
Oh,
because they
yes.
always get such great deals.
Yes.
Right.
And our associate members help out as well. We have about 275 associate members, and they usually save their stuff. I mean, be it 2 or 3 years at a time, and then the active members will call on our associate members, and they will give us their treasures to donate to bargain fair. So it's a great moneymaker.
Well, and exactly how many active members do you have now?
Right now we have 45.
And you meet how often?
We meet once a month usually, and if we have an event going on, we'll meet more than that, or if we have a volunteer event going on, but usually we meet about once a month.
All right, okay. So is there any other exciting things? You want to talk a little bit about the tennis tournament?
Sure, that's coming up June 10th and 11th, and that will be held at the Country Club of Paducah and also at the Paducah Tillman tennis courts. And we are just very hopeful that this is going to be a huge success. We've had a great response from the community so far, and right now our girls are working on selling advertisements to put into a program that we will give our sponsors as well as our players. And we're also looking for players. It's going to be a doubles round robin format, so anyone interested in playing tennis, give us a call.
And you've done a golf scramble as well, correct?
Yes.
And is that a yearly event now, or?
No, we rotate that. That will be in the rotation with bargain fair, Follies, golf, and tennis. So now we have 4 events that we rotate.
Events.
Yes.
All right, okay. Well, I think that we're going to take a break here for just a minute, and then we'll be right back. But we're going to ask that you all come back and join us, and we're going to discuss more about the relationship between the Charity League and Easter Seals. So we'll be right back after this break. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again. We have with us for this segment Danny Carroll, the President and CEO of Easter Seals.
It's good to be here.
Thank you. So now that we have you here with us, let's just get down to business and talk about the bones of what makes this relationship work, because it's really
a huge support that we have at Easter Seals West Kentucky. And coming into the position last year, I was not aware of the strong relationship between Easter Seals West Kentucky and the Charity League, and it was a very pleasant surprise, and I learned quickly what an important part they play in what we do. And basically it's family. They are Easter Seals, and that relationship we've really tried to foster over the months that I've been there, and we could not function without the Charity League, so we are very grateful for that.
Well, while we have Ms. Catterjohn here and a wealth of knowledge, I want to turn back to her just a minute, because we talked about all those fun things in the first segment, but what they really do is raise money. And there have been people in the past like Miss Du Bois, Toot Smith Du Bois, yes, who gifted a lot of things, and her part in the Charity League, I know, played a part. Will you talk about that just a little bit, because it's really fostered this relationship and helped.
Well, she was such a lovely person to start with. She was pretty, she was sweet, she was talented and all those things. And she was an early member of the Charity League. And she just did everything she could. I told you, I think earlier, she gave us the house that is still being used for meetings. But most recently, at her death, she set up a charitable remainder trust that benefited 4 charities in Paducah, one of which was the Charity League. And the way that works, 4 of her chosen heirs receive the income from that trust until they die. And then the bulk of it comes to the Charity League. 2 of those members, unfortunately, have died. But very blessed to us, we have received $2 million something dollars. And the first part we gave immediately to Easter Seals to complete the building of the Child Development Center. You see, the organization first was just on Mildred Street, but then Easter Seals outgrew it. And so the Child Development Center was built, and her gift to us and then to Charity League, to Easter Seals, made it possible to finish it, and it is a wonderful facility. Just tell them what it does, Danny. I think a lot of people in Paducah don't know about Easter Seals.
I think
I
you're
don't think
right.
they know what a wonderful organization and what all we do.
I think there are some misperceptions about the services, especially at our Child Development Center. We do have we serve, of our population at the Child Development Center, we try to keep a ratio of 75% typically developing children and then 25% special needs. And we are inclusive in everything that we do, which we really think helps out our special needs, the kids with special needs, and the typically developing once they get into school. We have heard from principals at some of the local elementary schools that our kids are some of the best prepared once they do arrive at school. So we have a great facility there, and we are. I look at us as the best center in Paducah, and you walk in, it's a very nice center, thanks to all the funds that we did receive, and we have excellent classrooms, excellent teachers, and we have about 120 kids when we are fully at our capacity. So we do serve a large number. We serve meals, and we prepare kids for school, and then the interactions with the kids with special needs, and it's just a great atmosphere to be part of.
And it's the most dedicated staff you can imagine. They are caring, they're competent, they're loving. They just give an awful lot.
And I know, Laura, you've had experience with that as
Yes,
well. Would you like to speak
My
about
son
that?
got pregnant and was searching for a daycare, and right off the bat, Easter Seals, everyone said, Easter Seals, that's where you need to go. Well, that's where we took Max, and I mean, I cannot tell you how blessed we were to have Easter Seals. To drop your newborn baby off someplace and to be, to feel, satisfied and, for his well-being. It was a great feeling, and the staff, yes, they were wonderful, loving. You couldn't have asked for anything better. So yes, it's the best facility in town. I'm very biased, but it is.
And that's okay. That's
Yes.
all right. That's all right. All right, Danny, are there other things that you would like to talk to us about this relationship? And
I've been part of the Easter Seals team for almost a year now, and I've had the opportunity to interact with a lot of the ladies from the Charity League at various events. So the golf tournament last year, I guess, was the first event, and just had a great time, and just seeing the commitment that they have to what we do, and working through the barbecue on the river, and the ladies coming to the center, and it's just a wonderful group to be associated with, and again, we are so fortunate to have that relationship, and we just take great pride in that, and they're always there when we need them, whether it be a financial need that might arise, or if we're just needing volunteers for something. And having that comfort level to fall back on as a CEO, I can't tell you how much that means, and how much peace of mind that gives me, and we are just very blessed for that.
I would agree.
I have had a unique opportunity because first I was in the Charity League working to make the money, and then I got on the board of Easter Seals. and found out how they decided to spend it as wisely as they possibly could. Of course, we could not operate without the telethon. The Lions Club makes the most money, and it is just such a benefit. But you know, I think the general public needs to be aware of the fact that when they want to give a gift in memory of somebody or in honor of somebody's birthday, a $50 check, a $100 check to the Easter Seals would be so welcome.
Absolutely, and we do get a lot of donations of that manner, and it is much needed. There are programs that we need in the community, that groups that we need to serve that we're not at this point, so there is room for a lot of growth. And to kind of maybe put in perspective what it means and what Easter Seals means to the individuals that we serve, there's a young man who's in a wheelchair at our adult daycare that I was talking to a couple weeks ago, and this was on a Friday afternoon, and I asked him, I said, it's Friday, you looking forward to the weekend? He said, no, most of my weekend is spent looking forward to Monday and coming back. Our facility and our people are so much of a part of his life that's what's important to him, and that's what Easter Seals is all about. It is enhancing the quality of lives of individuals that wouldn't have, in most cases, wouldn't have that level of quality, and that's what the money goes for, and that's what we're all about.
Well, and I think that's an excellent point, that people, no matter if they want to do as Mrs. Smith did with estate planning, Easter Seals can find a way to utilize that, or if they just want to honor someone with a birthday gift, or just a little happy, if you will. There's a way to do that.
Absolutely.
in $25 check.
Yeah,
whatever the amount is, that it can certainly be utilized at
It
Easter
adds
Seals.
up, and it has been a struggle in recent years with the downturn in the economy, and we've been no exception to that. We have struggled to a certain extent, and the community has really stepped up and really helped us out, and things are starting to level out for us. And with the Lions Club, WPSD, and the Charity League, without those groups, we wouldn't be there, without question. So we're very fortunate to be part of a giving community all across the board.
And we have about 5 minutes left here, and so I think that it would be appropriate if, I know how Easter Seals enhances everyone's life that's there, but I also know that as a board member and as a Charity League participant and as CEO and president, when you go in and out of those doors on occasion, it too enhances your life. So if you would like to take the opportunity to share some of that, I think now's an appropriate time to do that.
You're all looking at me.
No, well, because I know you've got a good story or two.
Well, I don't think we've talked enough about the adult daycare center. That is just such a remarkable place. A lot of these young people have graduated from what was once the Child Development Center, and they are so happy. Talk about a family. They all just love each other. And I went over there one day, and they were painting. The Lower Town artists come out and teach art to these young people, and it is absolutely amazing what they can do. Some of them are so crippled they can hardly hold a paintbrush, but they paint, and it is thrilling. And talk about the art auction that they have every year.
It's just a great event, and we have some very talented artists at our adult center, the individuals that we serve, and the artwork that comes from some of them is just amazing. And this year was the first art show that I had participated in, just a tremendous event and a good fundraiser for the organization, but one of our best programs at the center without question.
It is oftentimes very well attended.
Yes.
Laura,
Well,
we
I
have
think
just
for
a
me,
minute or so.
Basically, I like to be around the adults. We don't oftentimes get to be around the adults a lot. We're more at the Child Development Center, but I know last year I attended the ice cream social, the Charity League. We try to do an ice cream social every year at the Adult Center. And last year was just a fun time. The adults were about to go on a cruise, so we were able to talk to the adults about that and just really get to know them and just learn more about them, and it was a really special time. And then we saw them at Barbecue on the River, and you just feel like you know them. I mean, it was really a great experience for me and for a lot of our members to to actively participate and get involved. So.
For us, it's become kind of a family affair. My daughter, I have a daughter with special needs, and she comes on Friday afternoon, and she's my secretary, and she loves being at the center and at the adult center also, and it's kind of personal growth, I guess, being around a lot of the adults and the challenges that they face. And I've found myself, I have a lot of new friends now, and different perspective on life after spending some time over the recent months, and just a neat place to work, a great staff, and just a super environment all around.
I would have to agree. It does give you a different perspective on life, and the relationships that you build certainly are very enriching. So, all right. I thank you all for joining us today. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Mrs. Catterjohn and Laura.
Thank you.
And Danny as well. And we certainly appreciate the time that you have taken out of your day to share some of these items and great information with us, and wealth of knowledge as well. So we certainly appreciate it today. And we'll look forward to having you back so we can learn a few more things about the relationship between the Charity League and the Easter Seals.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And we would like to thank you all for joining us here on Easter Seals today, and we look forward to having you back and coming back to visit you. I'm Carol Gault, and we look forward to seeing you again on Easter Seals today. Thank you.